I'm so fucking excited. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. Literally, you don't even understand. So I went to the mailbox today, not expecting anything. Open the mailbox, packages, fantastic. We love to see it sometimes. Sometimes they're heavy, and that's inconvenient, but we love to see it if it's for us. And I had a package for myself and I forgot I ordered it, and here it is, and I'm in a great mood today. What a contrast from my last video, but that's great. That's what we like, variety in life. You know what I mean? Okay, so what is it? This is gonna be kind of like a dual video, all centered around New York Review of Books. So that publisher, their books are just like gorgeous. Honestly, they really are gorgeous. I love the different colored spines. I love that they're all cohesive, right? So they all match essentially. I love a cohesive publisher. I really freaking do. My package in the mail was, okay. New York Review of Books. Someone did me dirty and posted on Instagram, and I'm a sucker for Instagram advertisements, and it was an unintentional Instagram advertisement, and that's how they always get you. So everyone's just excited about accumulating shit into their lives, but books are not shit. Books are, they're spirits communicating with spirits throughout time and place. They are love, they are life, they are ourselves. Oh, oof, oof. Yes, okay, so what was I saying? I'm just excited. I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, someone posted about New York Review of Books having a sale, and I jumped on it. I'm excitement. I am excitement. I am looking at the first book. I don't even remember what I bought. I don't even remember what I bought. I remember I bought 6 books, and I wanted to run through my New York Review of Books collection today too, because I thought that that would be fun, and I thought that it would make sense because I don't have a huge NYRB collection. They are all right here, but they're gorgeous. Aren't they? Yes, love you. We have 6 books. I know we have 6 books in this box, and it's an unboxing. Okay, well, I already undid the top because I just did, and then I was like, unboxing, so that's what we're gonna do. The first book I see here has such a fantastic cover. Okay, we love it. Yes, so this is Grand Hotel by Vicky Baum. Have a hard time with that one. Introduction by Noah Eisenberg. Look at this cover. Are you looking? Do you see this? It's radiant and colorful and quirky, and I love it. I would frame this. I would. Okay, I would. I hope the book would be framed in my heart. I hope it's that good. I don't even know. What is this about? I think it's about, so it's a hotel, 1920s Berlin, serves as a microcosm of the modern world, and I'm assuming we dip in and out of the consciousness. I don't know if it's stream of consciousness. I just said that. We dip in and out of the lives and the minds of all these very different people that are living in this hotel or are visiting this hotel. That sounds really interesting. Like, everyone's in the same place, but everyone's so completely different, but they're connected by proximity and location and world events as well. But then again, our experiences are different. Oh, I'm so excited. And how we like, ooh, oh my gosh, you know something that I loved in Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf? Because that had like a large cast, it had a cast of characters, and we dipped inside the lives of each character. And it's like when you're in the perspective of one person and you see them viewing another person and you see their interpretation of their lives, and it's usually, it's a judgment, you know what I mean? Not like you're being an asshole, but it's like, you pass judgment on strangers and you assume that they're one way or thinking a certain thing or what have you. And then you dip into the minds and the lives of the other character and you actually see what they're feeling and thinking. And I think that that's so cool when it slips like that and you see the disparity there, and fascinating. So, and then this next book has been on my list for a really long time, so it was like I have to buy it since I'm ordering from NYRB. I have to buy it. It's gonna be part of the collection, and that's A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr with an introduction by Michael Holroyd. A deeply charged poetic novel. Sign me up. Ooh, you couldn't hook me any further with, you couldn't create a better little sentence. A deeply charged poetic novel? Are you kidding me? Yes. Okay? A veteran of the Great War, and a broken marriage, arrives in a remote Yorkshire village to restore a recently discovered medieval mural in the local church. Oh my gosh. So themes of like meaning, what's the meaning of life, and connecting with something deeper, spirituality in nature after all these traumatic experiences. Yes. And then this, okay, this is beautiful. And I think this has both works in this, if I'm not mistaken. So this is Cherie and the End of Cherie by Colette, with an introduction by Judith Thurman. Look at how stunning that is. From what I understand, okay, so it's sensuous and elegant. So these two novels, so it's like, it's a duology essentially, but it's bound up, they're short. It's like two novellas, it looks like, and it's bound up into one novel length collection. The inner lives and the intimate relationship of an unlikely couple, a middle-aged former courtesan and Fred Pellew, 25 years her junior, known as Cherie. The two have been involved for years, and it's time for Cherie to get on with life, to make something of himself. But he, the personification of male beauty and vanity, has no idea how to go about it. It is time, too, for Leia to let go of Cherie and the sensual life. And yet, this is more easily resolved than done. Cherie marries, but he is drawn back to Leia, and Leia to him. And yet to reprise their relationship is only to realize even more the inevitability of its end. Oh, a tumultuous love affair that's a little bit, what's the word? Not forbidden. I mean, a 25-year age gap, if they're adults and consenting, that's not forbidden, but you know what I mean. A little bit different there, you know what I mean? That different layer. Yes. And then we have Fat City by Leonard Gardner with an introduction by Dennis Johnson. I don't know why I had to emphasize everything with this, but I did, okay? Look at this. Beautiful. One of my favorite type of covers is when it's mostly, or when it's all black and white or like a grayscale, and then you have one color. And so that's what this is. And it has the red and the black and the white and the gray. Beautiful. Love that. Fat City, I think it's a novel about boxing. Stockholm, California, Main Street lunchrooms, dark bars offer a temporary respite to the men and women whose back-breaking work in the fields barely allows them to make a living. Two men meet in the gym, ex-boxer and the novice Ernie Munger. Their brief sparring session sets into motion their hidden fates, initiating young Munger into the company of men and luring Tully back into training. Fat City tells of their anxieties and hopes, their loves and losses, and the stubborn determination of their manager, Ruben Luna, who knows that even the most promising kid is likely to fall prey to some weakness. Then again, there was always someone who wanted to fight. And that just makes me think about when, like, I know this is specifically about that kind of, like, the boxing lifestyle. These people are field workers. They're sitting in the bar, and it's grungy and it's gritty, but that desire, that, like, punchy, I didn't even intend to use that, but probably subliminally I did. But anyway, that desire, that strong fighting desire in us for something in life, for something explosive and greater and more than where we're at. And I just feel like this might kind of have those themes in there. That's why I bought it. I don't know. Either way, it sounds really interesting to read about that kind of perspective. And then I'm so excited about this one. I'm so excited about this one. So Voltaire in Love by Nancy Mitford with an introduction by Adam Gopnik. Voltaire in Love. This is one of Nancy Mitford's historical biographies, and this is all about Voltaire and his being in the French court and his love affairs and all the different people's affairs and gossip. Nancy Mitford's account of Voltaire's 15-year relationship with the Marquis du Châtelet, the renowned mathematician who introduced Isaac Newton's revolutionary new physics to France. That's so exciting. It's like progress. It's like scientific progress and the explosion of the mind and the explosion of bodies, the passionate explosion of two bodies coming together. I'm really excited about it, and it's a historical biography, so that's even cooler. And then last but not least for my haul, we have Butcher's Crossing by John Williams. This I bought because I love Stoner by John Williams so much, and I have Augustus. I haven't read that yet, but I bought this because I loved Stoner so much, and this sounds really up my alley. 1870s, Will Andrews, fired up by Emerson to seek an original relation to nature, drops out of Harvard and heads west. He washes up in Butcher's Crossing, a small Kansas town on the outskirts of nowhere. Butcher's Crossing is full of restless men looking for ways to make money and ways to waste it. Before long, Andrews strikes up a friendship with one of them, a man who regales Andrews with tales of immense herds of buffalo ready for the taking, hidden away in a beautiful valley deep in the Colorado Rockies. He convinces Andrews to join in an expedition to track the animals down. It's a grueling journey, but at the end is a place of paradisal richness. Once there, however, the three men abandon themselves to an orgy of slaughter, so caught up in killing buffalo that they lose all sense of time. Winter soon overtakes them. They are snowed in. Next spring, half insane with cabin fever, cold, and hunger, they stagger back to Butcher's Crossing to find a world as irredeemably changed as they have been. I'm sorry I spent such a long time reading the entire back side of that. Yeah, just the draw of nature and how that makes you probably connect with the urgent animal inside you and how that might make you go like a bit crazy. I don't know, I just shook the camera. But yeah, the intense draw of nature to draw you out of mundanity and of modern life, and how that just sometimes the animal in you is just so overpowering, and it overtakes us. That's kind of what I get from the back, and I just think that I'm excited. Reject Harvard, go into the wilderness, and yes, love it. I mean, I would want a house with a sink, but I'm in with the vibe. You know what I'm saying? I'm in with the vibe. I don't want to kill buffalo, but I'm in with the vibe, and I'm excited to read the book. So there you go. And then let's talk about my collection. So we're adding these beautiful 6 books to my collection. Oh yes, we love that. We do. We'll start with this one then. We have The Pumpkin Eater by Penelope Mortimer. And I bought this because I was listening to the Woman's Prize podcast a couple of years ago. I've already read this, but a couple of years ago, and I'd never heard of this before, and I forget who was recommending this as one of their favorite books, but they said the nursery rhyme, the Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her, put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well. I am so impressed with myself if that's actually what it was. Is that the jingle? Is that the tune? Because damn girl, go! If that is it, I don't even know how I remember that. Yeah, Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. He put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well. Basically, did I say that word for word? I'm going to be watching this back as I edit it, and I'm going to be so impressed with myself if I did. So, The Pumpkin Eater. This didn't entirely blow my mind, but it is about a woman who's in a marriage and has a bunch of kids, and feels drawn outside of her domestic life, wants to experience her spirit more so in the world. So it's pretty feminist in that sense, but I think that there are probably a lot better books that you could read kind of centering around those themes, in my personal opinion. I recently did talk about my favorite books, which I guess I'll link somewhere, but La Femme de Giles by Madeleine Bourdeau is a French novel, and that, I think, kind of centers around these themes a little bit more. There's a bit of a disparity between the types of women that are the main characters in each of those books, but that's a flawless little novella. And this, I just feel like it didn't engage me as much. And the woman in here is probably a bit more, I want to say, the words coming to mind, but I don't feel satisfied with them, are free-spirited, downtrodden, but aggressively upset with that, and more so aggressively aware of her longing for freedom and willing to kind of do something about it, if that makes sense. Whereas La Femme de Giles takes a bit more of like a dispirited, resigned tone to it, more depressive. But anyways, yes. So that's that. I think it was like a 3-star read, and it hasn't really affected me much. But anyways, that's that. And then we have The Peregrine by J.A. Baker with an introduction by Robert McFarlane. And I haven't actually read this one yet, and I've almost picked it up so many times. But this is about a man who is going on a journey, I think, and he's following this peregrine falcon, and the peregrine falcon is supposed to be like the deadliest, the best hunting bird, the fastest in the world, and it's about reconciling that spirit within ourselves with that hunting spirit in the peregrine falcon. I don't know, I haven't read it yet. Obsessively observing them, harrowing and enraptured journey to the limits of the human. Yes. So that's that. And then we have, so I was really disappointed in this book, but I should have I should have known, I think. No, I shouldn't have known, but I was disappointed in this book, unfortunately, and that's The Invention of Morel by Adolfo Buyo Caceres. Prologue by Jorge Luis Borges, which makes sense. Little novella, and it's about a guy who washes up on this island, and he sees all these people repeating the same actions day after day, and he's confused, and he tries to talk to these people, but no one hears him or responds to him, or it's like he's not there. And it's trippy, and yes, and I didn't dislike this because I thought it was poorly written in any sort of way. I actually think that if you want like a short psychological read, you would probably really like this. If you liked Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, which won the Woman's Prize, this is like exactly that, basically. Same exact vibes. And I didn't like Piranesi. Yeah, just vibe-wise, it didn't hit me. My energy felt kind of rejected to it for some, like it rejected it for some reason. And I just personally, it didn't work for me. But if you like, again, Piranesi, you probably like this. So then we have Black Wings Has My Angel by Elliot Chase with an introduction by Barry Gifford. And this is about two people. So the man gets out of prison, and he has this plan for this heist, right? And then he meets this girl. He becomes obsessed with this girl, and he's in lust with this woman, right? I shouldn't have said girl, woman. And she is his equal, but is she too much? I don't know. And they're both kind of just like not nice people, and it's very interesting. And then we have Slow Days, Fast Company, The World, The Flesh, and LA by Eve Babbitt with an introduction by Matthew Spector. I haven't read this one either. I bought this because when I was buying Joan Didion, you know, I feel like they totally coincide. One of her books, and it might have been this one, again, I haven't read this yet, she wrote because she liked this guy, or she was in love with this guy, or liked him, or whatever. He didn't give her any attention, or he didn't feel the same way back, and so she wrote him this book to get his attention, or she wrote this book to get his attention. Something like that. You guys probably know. You can clarify in the comments for me, that'd be great. But yeah, interesting. Probably a woman who really knows herself and probably has pretty erotic themes. Or fairly erotic themes, just in touch with probably the grime of LA, which I think would totally coincide with the griminess sometimes of eroticism, I think, and the dirt of that, and like the dirt on the streets in LA. I think it's kind of the vibes that I'm getting thinking about that. So anyway, and then like I said, we have Stoner by John Williams, and we have Augustus by John Williams. So this book is honestly so good. It really is so good. It could have potentially made my favorite books of all time list. Totally encapsulates the word Sonder, right? Like everyone's lives are as intensely rich as our inner lives, or everyone has an intense inner life. And he grows up as a farmer, and then he goes to university and he studies English literature, and then he spends his whole life within this radius, and he never leaves it. And he eventually works up to become a professor. So there's really interesting literary discussions and digressions about literary styles. I think it's interesting, but it's just about this man's quiet life. And he never does anything, and it just makes me feel, but it's beautiful, you know? It's just kind of, life is so short. You have to take advantage of it, maybe, I don't know. But even if you necessarily don't do explosive things and take advantage of it, you still have intense, rich inner feelings, and you have an intense, rich inner experience. Other people can't feel your life. And then again, like I said, John Williams wrote Augustus, which I haven't read yet. I don't fully know what this is about. He creates the Roman Empire from the death of Julius Caesar to the last days of Augustus, and the machinations of the court, the Senate, and the people. Okay, and then we have, I didn't like this at all. I don't even have anything to say about this. This did not work for me. And this is The Unknown Masterpiece by Henri de Balzac. I think there are two stories in here, actually. Nothing about the tone of this author did anything for me. This wasn't for me, but beautiful book. There you go, you know? Family Lexicon by Natalia Ginsburg. I haven't read this yet, but I almost read it in August for Women in Translation Month. From what I understand, it's about an Italian family, and one of the parents is Catholic and one of them is Jewish. It's during Mussolini's Italy's kind of in the backdrop, so you see the descent of in Italy into war. basically. And it's about the family and the children growing up and creating their own lives. Excited to read that. And then last but not least, we have The Door by Magda Szabo, which I've talked about a few times, which is a very intelligent book. Very intelligent book that was written under communist rule, that is about a woman who has a housekeeper, and it's their relationship with each other, and I would really recommend it if you haven't read it yet. Yeah, that's my NYRB collection, my haul. Share with me what you own from NYRB and what your favorite book by them is. That'd be great. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful night, and goodbye.